Hello and welcome to Biz Headlines with me, Mauli Aholimega, right here on GhanaWeb TV. Now let's get straight into our stories for the week. Dr. Kiso Atoforsen has hinted that about 17 banks are at risk due to government's domestic debt exchange program. Dr. Atoforsen noted this is according to a report by the Bank of Ghana. After the government announced its decision to exchange domestic debt, questions have been raised about the viability of banks and how they were going to survive, since most banks were engaged in government business. Dr. Atoforsen said the debt exchange program has shown that government is looking to transfer its bankruptcy to the private sector. Minister of Finance Ken Ofori-Atta has said Ghana's bilateral mission to China has been postponed to somewhere in March this year. According to him, the postponement is due to the National People's Congress of China, which is expected to take place earlier in March this year. He made this known when he held bilateral talks with the German Federal Minister for Economic Cooperation and Development, Mrs. Sevenger Schulz, in Accra. The finance minister, however, said bilateral talks with China will continue ahead of this important mission. The government of Ghana has started to actively engage external debt. The government of Ghana has started to actively engage external debtors with the view of getting debt cancellation, especially from the Paris Club of Creditors. Now let's move on to the telecom sector, where Telecel Group has announced that it has completed an agreement to acquire 70% in majority shares in Vodafone Ghana. This is the most recent major change for the Ghanaian telecoms company since 2008, when Vodafone Group PLC purchased a controlling stake in GTCL and established Vodafone Ghana. Telecel is an African-focused telecommunications company with a brand founded in 1986, operating primarily in Africa and converging telecom with fintech, e-commerce, and tech startups. The completion of the agreement to acquire Vodafone Ghana by Telecel Group presents an opportunity for further innovation and continued delivery of unparalleled service to Ghanaians. Let's stay on the domestic front, where Fitch has downgraded Ghana yet again after the country missed on its important coupon payment as part of its Eurobond. The development comes after the government missed the grace period to make a 40.6 million coupon payment on its 1 billion 2026 Eurobond. Due to the current economic challenges in the country, Ghana has suspended making payments on external debt components. The latest verdict by Fitch comes after Ghana's local debt rating was downgraded to restricted default on February 14, 2023. Now let's move on to Parliament, where the Appointment Committee of the House has been vetting a number of nominees selected by President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Deputy Minister Designate for Trade and Industry, Dr. Stephen Amoah, has stated that taking a salary cut will not pose a problem to him once the minority leader of the House, Dr. Kiso Atoforsen, does the same. According to him, he was ready to take up the charge if need be.
Chairman, I think I said something here. My knowledgeable Dr. Atoforsen and I, the only difference is the height. So the way we are brothers, if he sees me on the corridor, he says, "Our brother, let's cut," and he cut his, I'll cut mine.
Can you consider rejecting or refusing the appointment of the president as a contribution to Ghana's current problem?
Mr. Chairman, I'm not a lawyer, but I know that Article 78 mandates the president with approval of the parliament to do as such. I don't think if I'm asked to serve this country, I'll deny the good people of Inshiaeso and this country by doing that. Thank you, sir.
Now let's move on to the case involving Beige Bank Limited, where a witness has accused the former CEO of the bank of siphoning customers' funds. A chartered accountant with KPMG, Julius Aivo, who is currently on secondment to the office of the receiver of the defunct Beige Bank Limited, has testified that reviews conducted into the affairs of the defunct bank identified a number of transactions that were suspicious and unusual in nature. According to Mr. Aivo, former CEO of Beige Bank, Mike Nyinaku, said the suspicious and unusual transactions involved the siphoning of funds that had been deposited by customers of the defunct bank by the former CEO to himself and companies related to him. This, he said, caused the government of Ghana to settle the affected customers with taxpayers' money following the collapse of the bank. He made the allegation when he testified in court as part of the trial. Now let's move on to the technology space, where an engineer and inventor is advocating for increased investment in Ghana's technology space to propel development and create jobs. According to him, this investment in the sector will ensure Ghana can take advantage of emerging trends to create jobs, especially among the youth. Speaking in an interview with GhanaWeb Business on the sidelines of the Tech Job Fair in Accra, Professor Fred Magbon-Lori, who is also the president of the Academic City University College, said technology can be leveraged on to propel the country's national development plan.
We all know where India is today is because of the tech industry. Some of the biggest billionaires in the world are tech entrepreneurs from India. So I think we need to take advantage of the fact that with new technological advances, people can actually sit here and work for companies anywhere else in the world, right? So we need to have some entrepreneurship funding to support young adults who have ideas that they want to launch. But we also need to figure out how technology itself is an integral part of our national development plans. So in our Greek sector, we've heard what are the policies again? The plan for food. What is one district, one factory? What are the impacts? What kind of impact can technology bring to this sector? Whether you are talking about using drones to inspect farms, to spray farms, for insecticide, among other things. So I think we just have to, we have a national ICT policy, but we need to deploy it. We need to realize it. So I think there's a part for government, and there's also the part for the private sector, that we need to make sure that these kids are getting access to internships while they are still on campus, so that they'll be job ready.
That's all for this week's edition of Biz Headlines on GhanaWeb TV. But before we go, don't forget to log on to our website, www.ghanaweb.com, and don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at the GhanaWeb. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, GhanaWeb TV. My name is Mauli Aholimega. Do have a lovely weekend.